What's going on, guys? Armand here. So about a little bit over a month ago, I decided to switch from the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra to the iPhone 13 Pro Max. And the reason I decided to switch from Android to iOS is because of all of the big upsides that iOS has over Android. Now, over the years, I've had a bunch of Android phones and a bunch of different iPhones. So I'm not really biased towards one OS or the other. It just kind of depends which tech is better at the time. And for now, the iPhone is the winner. So in today's world, it's no secret that your phone is pretty much an extension of you. And as a photographer and videographer, it's really important for me to have some key features on my phone that just make life so much easier. Okay, so the first one is the display and the DCI-P3 color space. Now, when I was using my Samsung phone, and it wasn't just the S20 Ultra, but all the other Android phones before that too, there's two modes you can have. There's neutral, which is more of like a desaturated look, and there's vivid, which is an oversaturated look. Now, I use color calibrated displays. I have a BenQ SW321 and an Asus ProArt monitor, both 4K 10-bit calibrated, you know, the whole deal. And every time I would transfer my photos over to my phone on Android, they would just look either super undersaturated or super oversaturated. And because of that, I always second guessed myself when I was sending off photos to clients or friends or posting them on Instagram or whatever. But with the DCI-P3 color space, all my photos on my phone look exactly the way they do on my display. Now, the DCI-P3 color space doesn't completely cover Adobe RGB, which is the full color spectrum in every color that exists. It's a little bit less than that, but I export all my photos in sRGB, so it covers that too, and it's accurate every time, and it just looks awesome. Apple did a really fantastic job with the XDR display and all that, so I'm very happy with the way it looks. There's nothing worse than sending off a photo to a client and you don't know if they're gonna see it and be like, these colors are terrible. But at least with the iPhone, I can be assured that it looks totally fine all the way through. Okay, so number two is the camera and video quality. So this is the big one that everybody's been talking about. If you've watched any iPhone video within the last couple months, everybody's talking about the camera. And I do have to say, for a cell phone, the video and photo quality is amazing. I went on a trip recently out to Bend here in Oregon, and I got to really try out the new ProRes codec for the iPhone. And I have to say, for a phone, it looks amazing. And I don't want to make this an Android versus iPhone comparison, but it does actually look really, really, really good compared to Android. I do wish there was a 4K 60 or 4K 120 option with ProRes, but pretty much locked at 24 or 30 frames. And one thing I really like about the photo mode is that, first off, it shoots DNG RAW, but number two is that how much dynamic range and just latitude the files have. I wouldn't shoot with the iPhone over, you know, a pro camera like an A1 or A7R4 or whatever, but to have something like this that's on you all the time and be able to maybe even use it as like an emergency backup, that's amazing. Like, Apple's done a really, really, really good job with this. You know, I was able to actually like color grade the video files quite a bit. I mean, it's not like a Red camera or, like I said, like Sony A1 or anything, but for a phone, like, honestly, you can't beat it. Okay, so number three is kind of a weird one, and I don't know if anybody actually notices this, but the iPhone posts sharper photos to Instagram than Android does. So you might not immediately notice it when you're looking at your phone, but if you look at it on a desktop, and if you look at my Instagram up to a certain point, I always posted with Android, and then I switched over to iPhone, and the photos are noticeably sharper. It's so weird. And I think it's like that because there's one version of iOS and like a million different versions of Android. Like, we have Android 12, 10, 11, and older Android phones don't get the newer updates For example, I have a friend of mine that was using the Galaxy S9, which is only a couple years old, but it's stuck on a much older OS because they won't update it to Android 12. And that's done by the manufacturer for some reason. I think another reason that might be is because when Instagram originally came out back in 2011, it was only for the iPhone. They didn't have it on both platforms until Facebook took it over in 2012. It's also not limited to just Instagram posts, but also Instagram stories. So if you're a photographer like me, this might be important for you. I know a lot of people do make their main source of income from posting on Instagram now, so that might be important to you like it is to me. Integration with other iOS users and Mac OS. So if you live in the United States like myself, I would probably say 8 out of 10 people I meet have an iPhone, and not too many people actually favor Android for some reason. And as a photographer, it's actually more convenient, I would say, if everyone has an iPhone, because you can send full res photos to people, you can send full res videos, they won't get downloaded and compressed, because of how amazing iMessage is. And if you travel internationally a lot, iMessage is amazing. Google has their version of messages, but it's not quite as good as iMessage, I would say, primarily because you can just connect to Wi-Fi and basically text from your phone. I'm pretty sure all phones have Wi-Fi calling now. I know that used to be like only an iPhone thing, but I think all phones have it now. So whoever your carrier is, you can leave the country and just do Wi-Fi calling. And as far as the integration with Mac OS goes, you already know if you're in the iOS ecosystem and Mac OS ecosystem, working between the two is just so amazing, especially with the Photos app. You can just drop photos in and then boom, it's instantly on your phone. Like, that's the coolest thing ever. Going from PC to my iPhone isn't as big of a deal anymore, because you can just go to the iCloud website, create folders, drop your photos in, and boom, they sync with your phone. Same with your contacts and everything else, really. Everything just kind of lives in the cloud now, which is great. If you're like me, maybe you have a Mac laptop and a PC desktop. Honestly, the integration is still like fine between all of them. That was actually one of my big deal breakers of why I didn't switch sooner, was because with Android, you can just plug the phone in directly to your computer and it's like a hard drive. You can drop your files in and it's super easy. But with the iPhone, everything has to be done through the cloud. So there is maybe some extra steps, especially for transferring video. I have to upload it to Google Drive and then save it to the files on the phone and then save it to photos. And it's just like all of these extra steps for some reason. So that I'm not a huge fan of, but it does work. So yeah, the integration is nice, especially if your main computer is Apple. So yeah, these are all just kind of nerdy, nitpicky things that I look for as a photographer when I'm choosing a smartphone. And I have to give an honorable mention to the ProMotion display. The 120 hertz variable refresh rate looks fantastic. The Android phones have it, but the iPhone finally got it in the 13. It looks amazing. When you're not scrolling, the refresh rate drops to, I think, 60 hertz or something like that to save battery life. And you know what? Another honorable mention for the battery life. It's amazing. It lasts forever. I would probably say I could use it for a solid 2 days before needing another charge, but that's with location and Bluetooth turned off. So yeah, there you have it. Those are my thoughts on the new iPhone 13 Pro Max. Let me know what you guys think. Are you thinking about upgrading, maybe switching from Android? I know the iPhone FOMO is like very much real when you're in a group chat and you're the only like green bubble and everybody else is blue, but you don't know they're blue. So there you have it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you aren't, like the video, and I will see you guys very soon.